Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We're broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM from New Orleans, and brand new for us, also streaming live on Roku. Yes, you heard it right, Roku. So now you can watch it right from the comfort of your own living room, right? Anyway, we're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey since the very beginning. Big thank you to Folgers. Would not be the same without you, and we appreciate you so very much. Also, big thank you to Dr. Snick, aka Justin Snicker, the sonic surgeon, for his contribution of his voice and his music to our intro and outro. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found anywhere that good music can be found. So check him out. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind any of our logos at The Outer Realm. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook. Check him out. He's got stuff ready to go and does amazing horror custom pieces. Very talented gent. So tonight, for the very first time, we are welcoming Florida Bigfoot researchers Tim and Waynette Turner. And funny story how I actually came to connect with them. Tim had commented on our YouTube channel, actually on Ron Morehouse's segment, if you guys remember Quantum Bigfoot, and, you know, sort of made a mention about what he did. And of course, we're always looking for really, talented researchers, especially, in the obscure, a little bit different. And, asked him to reach out, and he did. And here he's going to be with us tonight, along with Waynette. So really looking forward to meeting them. He's just been really awesome to deal with, just via email. So I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. But in order to participate tonight in our chat room, guys, please remember when we're dealing with the guests and trying to get to questions and comments, just picture an 8-lane superhighway coming into like one lane. It's kind of like that in the soundboard. We have to sort of keep up with what we're talking about, and we try to get to everyone. So it's not like we're jumping over you. There's just another 8 or 7 other platforms from where you are. So on YouTube, we're looking at, of course, The Outer Realm, UFO Paranormal Radio, and UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. Facebook, we've got UFO Paranormal United Public Radio, Canada's Most Haunted, News on the Flip Side, The Outer Realm, and of course, Roku. And we're not getting messages from Roku, so just down to 7. That just kind of increases your odds a little bit. So as people are chiming in here, we'll wait for the guests to pop in. So hello, Thomas. Hello. And let me just put everybody up here. Hello, Thomas. Hello, William. Oh, hello. The BF. We were just talking, I think. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Janie. So yeah, here we are. Okay, so we're kind of all over the place. There we go. So yeah, we will wait for them to come in. There's a lot of stuff that comes in. I mean, he made mention, of course, hey, Pamela, of the Skunk Ape. And I know that in New Orleans, which is where, the network is from, also the Skunk Ape. So I'm really looking forward to getting the similarities. And we shall wait no more because our dynamic duo have just arrived. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
Hi, Michelle.
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Good. Hey, Marisol. People are just chiming in, filling up. So there are 7 chat rooms because we are also live on Roku, and there's not a chat room there, but there will be 7. I will put up the comments, read them out, because being an FM station, we have a huge audio listenership, and then you'll be welcome to answer anything as it comes forward, just to simplify things a little bit. So How are you? And thank you for being here on such short notice.
Doing good. Yeah, no
Yes,
problem.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I always like to start at humble beginnings. How does one just decide one day, you know what, we're just going to go chase and this elusive being? Just most people kind of go, no. So was it from an experience? Is it just something? Was it a curiosity? What was it exactly? Whoever wants to start, you guys will have the floor.
It was like in the past, like way back in the 70s, we would see stuff every once in a while, like from the Everglades with David Shealy. And then sometimes you would see stuff on TV, and mainly like way back then you had the $6 million Man,
Right.
and had Andre the Giant playing the Bigfoot.
Right. Yes.
And then here we have the Bigfoot shows, and they're going out, but they're never showing anything on TV. Just decided, well, you know what? I've got all this experience hunting, and I've never seen one while I'm out there hunting.
Right.
I want to start really looking and seeing if they're real. So I started searching around a little bit on YouTube and the internet to see if there was anybody in Florida showing anything. And I started finding a couple people that were actually showing something, and started kind of learning what to look for.
Right.
So I took my hunting skills, my tracking skills, and I started going out to certain areas and finding their footprints. And I found a really good trackway one of my first times out. And the footprints were 6 inches and 9 inches. And there were several of them. They had come out on a trail, had went back in the bushes, and then like later in the night had come back out, going back the opposite way. And I made casts of those, measured them, and even the 6-inch footprints were further apart than I could step.
Wow. So would those be considered?
So they'd be something like that.
Would they be considered juvenile?
Somebody walking barefoot. Yeah, it was a juvenile.
Right.
It would have been a juvenile Bigfoot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you hear so much about. I'm going to try to get to questions before because I know I can already tell there's going to be a few for you. We'll get to William. Okay, let's just go in. Quite a bit of information out there. They all seem to agree that he smells really bad. Okay, comment. I guess that's also a good question because anybody that I've experienced who have come into contact or been in the vicinity said it's a very pungent smell. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I've only smelled them a couple of times.
Right.
They don't always smell bad, but it is like a wet dog stinking type of smell, something kind of rotten.
Right.
Kind of mixed together. Yeah.
Right. So what prompted you? You just decided we're going to do this, and when it's like, yeah, I got your back. What made you decide that this was something you wanted to get involved in?
Well, actually, for me, I have believed since I was like 13, because we lived in a mobile home back then, and we were up late one night, like playing games and stuff, and then all of a sudden we hear like heavy footprints outside of our trailer. Footsteps. Yeah. Footsteps. I said walking, but it was like jarring the trailer.
Wow.
And this went on for like 10-15 minutes, but we would walk down one end of the trailer, and it would, whatever it was, would walk down the end of the trailer.
Wow.
It would go back the other way, and it would go that way, and it was just jarring the trailer, and then we heard like the back doorknob jiggle, and my mom, she got the shotgun out, or rifle, whatever she had then, just in case, whatever this was trying to fix to come into the house.
Wow.
But after that, it pretty much quit.
Wow.
So, there was, I don't know what it was, but whatever it was heavy. Yes.
I've
Around that
heard
same
of them
time, too,
doing
some of
that.
her family
Like, do
some
you
of her
think
family.
that's like an intimidation thing, like, or a
I,
curiosity thing?
I did well, and this was like, and it wasn't in the woods. We
Right.
were like surrounded
Yeah.
by orange
Yeah,
trees.
orange grove.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But
Like, that's a bit brazen. I would be like, wow,
but my brother, he experienced stuff, and I had actually two brothers that had experiences like this. Like the one brother, he walked outside and he saw something that was taller than like probably a 7-foot, 6-7 foot orange tree, and he could see something above it standing there. And then there, in this same area, I had another brother and his friend. They were just riding around in the groves just for kicks,
Mhm.
and they stopped probably to make a pit stop or something.
Yeah.
And my brother, he saw something in the rear view mirror. Then it started like bouncing the trunk. I mean, it was bouncing the car. So they got in the other guy got back in the car and they got out of there because it scared them.
Oh,
So,
heck
but
yeah.
there were other
Mhm.
incidences that people talked about out there in that same
Mhm.
area. And now that area now is the orange groves are gone, the orange trees are gone, and you got housing developments and everything out there. It looks totally different now.
Yep,
So it
bro.
squeezed
Yeah.
them out like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
right. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, be a little bit much. I mean, we have property up in the area, a couple of hours away where they're known to be. And this is like northern Ontario area, northeastern Ontario in Canada. And I mean, people hear the tree, like the tapping, and they have found, like, there've been sightings of them everywhere. We had a caretaker on the property, and we had just had somebody on the show talking about, what to do and what not to do. And I'm going to ask you guys your opinion on this, but it's like, whatever you do, don't get out there with the pots and pans, start making all this noise. They take it as a sign of war. I messaged my caretaker, whatever you do, apparently this is a sign of war, don't do it. He's like, okay. Because he was hearing things at like 4 and 5 in the morning. It was dark out, it's very remote, and he goes, I don't think there's
Mhm.
anybody out there that hour in the dark chopping wood or that kind of thing. So what are your thoughts on that? What's the do's and the don'ts?
Yeah, we don't make any sounds, any noises like that. We don't get out there and knock on trees or do any of that stuff.
Okay.
And one thing too, I mean, I was a hunter, so I've always used to being quiet in the woods,
Right.
and I'm quiet and I'll listen. I can actually hear them. I can hear them getting close to us, walking, moving, breaking small tree branches, stuff like
Okay.
that. I listen to the birds. You can hear
Right.
the birds actually start sounding off and being everybody around. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That would make sense. I would not want to be, I would want to be more respectful. It's also falls
Mhm.
under that, just not being heard, maybe you won't be seen. It's
Yes.
just, you just sort of stay out of everybody's way.
Uh-huh.
So that's been where you guys have had most success, is just being quiet and letting
Yeah.
them get a feel for you as well.
Yes.
Yes. And they'll get real close to us.
Oh, wow, really? And I guess that's going to bring me to
Close to
I
Wayne's
that.
believe so.
question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Wayne's question. It goes, thanks for coming on. Did you feel disoriented when encountering these beings? I mean,
I've
if you're
had
very quiet, you're not obviously not on edge.
no, I don't. I'm not afraid of them or anything. I can actually feel them. It's like a pressure on my head.
Hmm.
I can actually feel them watching. It's kind of
Interesting.
like a lot of the Vietnam veterans have kind of got like a sixth sense when they were in
Yes.
Vietnam. It's kind of
Yes.
that, and I can feel them.
Wow. That's like it must be like an energy thing. Just
I've
like
only had twice that I've actually had a meeting where it makes you, yeah, it makes you like kind of, well, it doesn't make me really disoriented, but it made me like had a dread feeling. It felt like I had to leave, like I needed to get out of the area. It
yeah.
makes you feel like something's coming out at you to fight you.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard this before with other people who have been on. We had one of the gentlemen, Kyle from Alaska, kill a Bigfoot, and he's just a tracker because I was just there to protect everybody from bears. He goes, I didn't know what to expect. He goes, but he goes now. He
Yeah.
goes, I've got a very healthy outlook and respect because they had experienced so many things, you know.
Mhm.
But that's what he was saying was you just get the sense, like you feel it in your body.
Yep. You do. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. There's been releases that say that Bigfoot are actually a type of ET or alien, not just a wild thing. Oh, wild thing could fall under many different things here. Hold on. Stories about tribes that went to battle with groups of Bigfoot and said it didn't go well. That's a very interesting comment.
Or any
Well, yeah,
Native American Indian tribes that had fought with them. Yeah. And there were some actually
right.
too, that actually like 3 different tribes that actually traded with the Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
hmm
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, there's a lot of folklore about that, right? With
There
the
is. Yeah.
indigenous groups.
Yeah. A lot of Americans all had it in their history.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
So, okay. Obviously, you've had a lot of experiences. Just how close are you? Like if I had him in my backyard, I guess where I'm going, I'd be a little bit concerned, but in the same respect, not really, because you obviously share space and you guys are more than okay with it. Are you guys relatively close to these guys? Do they follow you home?
No, they don't follow
No.
us home. No.
They've not followed you, eh?
I haven't
No.
had any kind of signs of them following us home. No.
Right, right. Well, I guess that's good news.
Yeah. It is. They
So
appear to like us. There's never really been any kind of violent or threatening.
right. Well, I actually like to
They
hear
pretty
that.
much get.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually like to
Yeah.
hear that because they get a bad rap, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when when we're out there though, and he says, okay, I feel like they're watching us.
Mm-hmm.
I never get a sense of fear or anything.
hmm
So if they're there, they're not sending off like bad signs to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not threatening you or
Yes.
giving that vibe. Do they interact with you? So they try to interact with you?
Yeah, those do. They've thrown small sticks at us before.
At least it's not a rock.
I know they're gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also a curiosity because again, anything that that I've seen in research or people have talked about is they'll hurl stones at you, sometimes big ones, or
Yes.
you big logs, or
Mhm.
so I mean sticks are okay.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, just being
Yeah.
gentle with you. I
tiny
think
little
that's
sticks.
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Pamela asked, what kind of equipment do you guys use?
Yeah, we've grown with our equipment because I actually started out using 2 cell phones.
Yeah.
And filming with the cell phones, and then I went and I bought a camcorder. Then I bought a GoPro. So we use a camcorder, a GoPro, and a thermal camera now too.
hmm
I've had the thermal camera for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and we catch them a lot with the thermal camera because
Yeah.
it catches it works off of heat, daytime or nighttime. It works off of heat, so we
Right.
catch them. You'll see them a lot of times. So they look black hot, just like we do.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And do you find that they've got a specific type of? I mean, will call it language because I look at them as just being beings of another, whether they're interdimensional, dimensional, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
They're individuals. Do
Yeah,
you
they are.
find that they communicate with each other, maybe to try to notify one another that you guys are in the area?
Yeah, they have different. When we're out there, a lot of times you can hear them whistle. Sounds just like a human whistling.
Oh
And
yeah.
sometimes they'll be on each side of the trail. They'll be following us on each side of the trail, and they'll be whistling back and forth at each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then we've also caught some language on the
Yes.
audio recorder
Yeah.
that we've left out like over a couple of weeks at a time.
Oh wow.
We'll go back and get it, and I've got actually some language and stuff on there too.
Wow.
And
Is it
some of it sounds like a cave. You can hear like it almost sounds like grunts, and then hitting a tree, grunts hitting a tree, grunts hitting a tree,
mhm,
and you can tell it's back and forth between 2 or 3 different individuals.
mhm.
Yeah.
Is there anything ever like audible that you understand? Because there are some researchers out there, and we'll get to the whole, researchers thing in a moment, but some of them claim that they can, if they can get a dialogue going with them, that they've been taught or they how to say names and things like that. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it is. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm getting to the point now where I'm talking to them more when I'm out there
Mhm.
talking to them because I think they can understand us,
Yeah.
and I'm
Right.
trying to get word to see if they can actually speak or talk to us back.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think if they trusted you enough, and if you were repetitive in the things that you were saying, I can't see why they wouldn't. I mean, they're obviously very clever. They managed to
yeah.
elude the world for the most part,
There are like very
so
Yes.
intelligent.
yeah, yeah. Okay, another comment question. Stories about tribes that went to battle with groups of Bigfoot. So that didn't go on. That's not the one. Sorry, William. This is the one I wanted. If the Indians traded with them, I wonder if you could bait them out with offerings.
Actually, yeah, you can. Um, I have a really good picture too that I don't share it. I only show it to people on my phone because it's my buddy's picture
Right.
where
Yeah.
we were leaving. I was leaving gifts.
Right.
I had a couple game cameras set up, and we would go in there and leave the gifts. And as we're turned walking away, we would film behind us. And my buddy caught a juvenile, a really good picture on film. He came out
Aw.
real quick right behind us and grabbed the gift, and you
Aw.
could see it in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's actually really impressive because you have a juvenile, you're going to have an adult
yeah,
not very far off. And the fact that the adult would oversee and not try to stop the juvenile from coming forward and collecting it, they must
mm,
trusted you enough
Yeah.
yeah.
to
I think
allow that to happen. That says a lot.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Mm.
that. I love that. Okay, we're gonna keep going down. Tim and Wynette have some great videos on their channel. Yes. And you know what I'm going to do right now, actually? Give me a moment. Let me go and copy and paste this Facebook, and I'm going to get your banner up and running. See, I'm
Oh,
just so into like just sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm just going to put this up. One second. Bear with me, people. Bear
No.
with me.
yeah.
Okay. And I'm just
Yeah,
going to go
on our
here.
channel, I share a lot of stuff that we're finding
Okay. I'm just going to copy and paste your
and a lot
YouTube
of stuff
channel.
that we're experiencing.
Paste. There we go. Save. There we go. Bam.
Wow.
Okay, here it is. All right, they'll be there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about researching. Obviously, it's like any field. You have those who get it right. You have those who come up with their own phenomenal ways of doing things. Then you
Mhm.
get those who really shouldn't do it. So just like don't do that. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you find that do you find that there's a lot more people out there who just want to go capture them, whether it's killing them, capturing them, as opposed to just observing them? Like what's the ratio to that? And because you're in the field, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's that many people that actually want to kill one. I think most people
That's
want to.
changed then. Yeah.
I think most people want to actually just see one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's great if you can definitely
And
like,
I think
that's
or even see
changed.
one step out in front of them. Yeah, it has.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And
And I know there's still some people that want to kill one, and
that's true. There's
yeah,
some.
but I
yeah.
think the government would come in and take it real quick too. I think the government knows the real, and they would come in and take it from you.
Well, allegedly, when Mount St. Helen erupted, there
Yep.
were witnesses that claimed that there were 2 or 3 military helicopters that were carrying. We don't know if they were deceased, if they were just, hurt, but they were being airlifted out. Two or
Yep.
three of
I've
them,
heard
Bigfoot. Yeah.
that. Mhm.
And well, also, I think in some states it's illegal to kill them. I think California is one of them. What's the laws in Florida with that?
Um, I've only seen in one of the hunting brochures that tells you about what you can kill and can't kill. There's
Mhm.
only one that I've seen so far that says you cannot kill a skunk ape.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys call it skunk ape there as
Skunk
well,
ape
just like
is
New
one
Orleans.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I think
right.
we have a mixture. I think we have a mixture of skunk ape, Sasquatch. There may actually be something else too that I'm starting to learn could be like an ancient people or ancient ones.
Right, right.
I'm seeing different things. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, one moment. I wonder what the Indians did that made Bigfoots go battle with them. I mean, what would actually make a Bigfoot mad? It's a good question because I would think they would want to be fairly elusive and not be bothered with anybody. I mean, they've existed all this time. What would make them come out and want to wage war or defend themselves, whatever the case may be?
The only ones I really know of that were actually in a battle like that, they said that the Bigfoots were cannibals, and the Indians were trying to kill them off and keep them
Alaska.
from the
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, Alaska, that was exactly what, the Alaskan killer Bigfoot story was of the indigenous people when they were on the show. When
Hmm.
Kyle was on the show, so that was the story anyway. Yeah, I guess you'd want to pretty much defend yourself at that point. So kind of, creepy to think about it. Um, when you have been in your excursions looking and seeking them out or sharing space, do you ever notice any other odd anomalies like orbs or
Yes.
UFOs? I mean,
Yes.
Florida's riddled with everything, so so
It
that I
is.
would ask. So,
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of orbs that we catch on game camera,
right.
and it's in the same areas that I'm finding the footprints and the hairs and
Okay.
everything else with the Bigfoot. I've caught them on the game camera, the orbs. I've
Mm-hmm.
actually caught them on video one time where it looks like um, a juvenile Sasquatch came in as an orb and then changed and was running to get into a position behind a blind that they had, a natural blind, to watch us.
Wow.
Yes.
And I've also caught orbs on the thermal camera during the daytime
Mm-hmm.
as a heat signature, and the other cameras did not pick it up, could not see it, and we
Wow.
didn't see it. We couldn't see them with our eyes either.
Yeah.
I picked it up and caught it with because it's a heat, giving off heat.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what your opinion was on what the orbs were, but you think that's we're dealing with,
Yeah, I
these
think they're an
beings?
energy. I think they're connected with the Bigfoots. I think they use them. Yeah, they use that energy with the orbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Um, You've listened to Ron Morehouse, of course. I just love him. I saw
Right.
him actually on Alaskan Killer Bigfoot. I went, I gotta get this guy.
Yep.
This is it's the first time I had
Yeah, Ron
actually.
Moore has
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
a lot of research.
Oh, yeah, right. I
Mm.
mean, everything made sense after I listened to Ron. I'm like, wait a minute, this is actually something that I can resonate with. What are your thoughts on that? The whole quantum thing.
Yeah, I'm really thinking that the quantum physics, the science from it, is really helping to explain a lot of things that's going on with them, things that we're experiencing. Because
Right.
we try to do a lot of stuff scientifically,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like measuring footprints, the step, the stride,
Mm-hmm.
detect any type of radio frequencies.
Right.
We use stuff like that. We collect hairs forensically and look at them with the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the quantum physics, the science part of the quantum physics, is going to help explain a lot of things that's going on as
Yeah.
far as the orbs, the energy,
Yes.
how
Yeah.
fast they're running, how fast they move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find it interesting how you have footsteps that just stop.
Yes. And I
I-
think that has to do with the energy and the orbs as well.
Right.
Right. So.
And also, see, like when Waynette seen them before, she'll see sometimes one peeking out from behind a tree, and she'll tell me to start filming over
Yeah.
that direction, and it'll move, and she won't see it no more. And I've actually seen one move. I've seen one move. It was my size. It was human size, and it moved so fast. It was just a gray flash. There's no animals out there that big, that
Yeah.
size that it could have been.
Right.
Wow. Wow. There's also been people have mentioned
Yeah.
shadow
They
beings.
physically- Yeah, shadow beings.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've caught some of them on film too, on camera. Yeah.
Do you think they're one of the same, or do you just think that they just come in through this portal, this gateway, and things come in with them, or they're just extraterrestrial? Do you think that they're, like are they here? Are they underground? I mean, let's face it, we've got cave systems and
I think
dense
they use
woods
the
all over the
form
planet.
to move around. Yeah. And we think they use caves and stuff down in the aquifer too. There's a bit underneath us. And we think there's cave systems down there that they use.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, when they need to get away in a pinch, they're like this, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
otherwise they just have their paths.
Yep.
Do you ever come across anything like nesting areas?
Yeah, we have. We found a couple of times we found something that looks like it could have been a nesting area.
Right.
One time we were in the Everglades and we found a nesting area that was up in the tree where they would have been staying out of the water. And I've
Right.
also had a couple of places too that I'm pretty sure is actually a portal. Like one cabbage palm that we kept watching.
Hmm.
And my game camera, I kept seeing faces in it from time to time. And you would see them watching the deer. When the deer come by, you could see them, their face moving and watching the deer go by.
So that's interesting. When you say that, is it? I've spoken to people and I've seen things like this myself, where it's almost like a distortion in time. And the best way to explain it would be like translucent or iridescent. It's just sort of like heat coming off a hot sidewalk. It's just sort of a ripple
Mm-hmm.
in the time or the area, the space. Is that a little bit similar to what you saw, where you think this is a portal?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is, eh? Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Because
That's
it looks a little
interesting.
different on camera than it would normally. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's interesting, because there are times where you could just see that with the naked eye, but people, I just don't think, I think it comes down into one of those situations where you don't know what you're looking at, or you're just too busy to pay attention to the fact that there's something just different about a certain spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because I would think, I have an elderly friend who works a lot with energy and planetary. He does a lot of planetary work. He's very, very gifted. Never met anyone like him. And when he was brought to my attention, his assistant said, she goes, he's not from here and he's a gift to humanity. I'm going, aren't we all? I hadn't met him yet. So like, we're all a gift to humanity. Anyway, I met him and I went, no, this guy's a gift to humanity. So when something happens to him, like the planet will lose, a really big ally. And he's worked with Bigfoot. And he can see things. He can see dimensionally, and he can see portals and things like that, and he can see them, through remote viewing and things like that. It's fairly fascinating. That's why when people think, well, I think this is a thing, I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure it's a thing. This guy's got it together, as I think he is. Definitely a thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And the portals, I mean, NASA
yeah.
is actually studying the portals. They know they exist.
Yes.
With the quantum physics scientists, they know there's 11 dimensions and probably a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, stuff like that, it's real. It's already been scientists and NASA and stuff studying.
And maybe there's maybe a bit of a time difference as well. Maybe they move a few seconds quicker as well, which would explain also the sudden.
Yeah.
Because that's also a theory. No, they move a few seconds faster, or they're obviously not slower, because by the time you get to the spot, they're completely gone. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I think more and more people are starting to look at a more scientific approach to it. Now, like any field, you have, ridicule, you have bullying, you have, I always say that there's enough research for anybody who wants to seriously research and not just be a Yahoo out there. Do you run into that in your field as well? The bullying, the ridicule.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
An
That's
issue?
one thing I would like to get rid of. I try to bring awareness to people and help get rid of the bullying and the ridiculing.
Yes.
Wow.
I have a friend of mine that came to me and told me about a sighting he had, and he wouldn't tell anybody else because he was afraid he would get ridiculed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad. You would think in modern age of, internet and cameras, let's face it, everybody's got one of these now.
Yep,
Pretty
yep.
much everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got a camera. There's people out there finding and capturing all kinds of amazing evidence. There's a lot of TV shows out there. I'll give a little plug to Paranormal Car and Camera, just because they show little video clips and, of everyday people's videos. So that it gives them an opportunity to put something out there. You think it would just ease up a little bit. You think that people wouldn't be so afraid to come forward now.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I don't understand, why people will join a group, and at first, that they act like they're into the research and everything. They start the bullying. It's like, well,
Why are you
it's
here?
like they just came on to bully.
Right. Well, some people have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're online too, they'll call those trolls. They just go trolling for
Yeah,
information,
right.
stirring things up. And it's sad
Yeah.
because I think people who truly want to research, I'll use your field for, as an example, people who really want to truly get to the bottom of what these beings are, they want to be serious about it. They want to share information. You just want to bounce ideas around and maybe learn from one another, because that's how the field advances.
Mhm.
Yes.
Otherwise,
yes.
it doesn't go anywhere.
No
Yeah,
matter
that's
how
right.
big or little,
Mhm.
whatever, however big or little some information somebody might have, that's
Right.
important to them, and everybody needs to take it seriously. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, we started a Facebook group here recently for our Bigfoot, and that's why we want people to come on there and share whatever they want to share, with no ridiculing, no bullying. And anybody that wants to come on there and say a bunch of crap like that, I'll ban them from the group, because I want people to learn. I want people to be able to share whatever
That's
they
not
want to
what
share,
it's
to
about.
learn.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up your Facebook page, guys, and I'll just go click on it and join it. There we go.
Okay. Cool.
All right, here we go. And I'm going to do the same thing with your YouTube page as well, so they can go in and share that also. That way,
Cool.
just click on it, because I can't do it from here, from the soundboard. So let's go here. All right, there we go. And then I'll have to scroll back up and get so, okay, there we go. I have to go back up to get questions and comments. I agree with you. I think that people like that hinder the research. I see it in many fields, the paranormal. I've spent,
Everything,
2 decades literally in the field of the paranormal, and you branch out. When you're in the paranormal, you branch out into everything: cryptozoology, ufology, because it's all high strangeness. You just
right.
you explore it all. There's so many similarities that people really don't know or realize how similar a lot of these things are. And you just always have those people that can't put forward the serious research. So it's almost like they want to hinder everybody else from doing it. And it really does give the field a bad name.
Yep.
It does.
It's like, I don't know, like if I had a property to which I do have access to a property that has one. And, you would almost be hard pressed to find serious researchers who want to just, like Ron Morehouse is just, like I said, you can go anytime you want. Anytime you want. Free. I can just give you carte blanche, because I know he's serious. I would say to you guys, go ahead. I would not even think twice about it. There's 100 acres with caves and, a lake and streams. And this is all part of this property. And there's sightings everywhere in the area. And there's just, you just don't want just anybody going on there, because it can create a lot of issues for the species as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into, here we go. Adriana, I think platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime are helping by making more documentaries available on these topics and bringing them into the mainstream more. I agree. I do see more documentaries.
There is. Yeah. A lot more
way
now.
more
Yeah.
now.
And more serious documentaries. I have to say, it's just been...
Tubi is free also, and they have a lot of documentaries on
Yeah,
there as
Tubi.
well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll take whatever you can get. anything in the field of what I say high strangeness, which kind of lumps everything in. You're going to have those who take it seriously. You're
Yeah,
going
it
to have
would.
those who don't. And unfortunately, those who don't make it much harder for the serious researchers
Yes.
to be able to, do anything productive. So that would be a big one. If you had to raise awareness, it'd be like, okay, people, can we just stop and, not all act like we're in the grade 3 schoolyard, and can we all work together?
Yep.
That would
Yeah,
be a
'cause,
good one.
we have the BFRO.net, which has
Right.
the Bigfoot reports. Florida's number 3 on the list for reported sightings. You got Washington, and then California, and then Florida.
Florida's got
So-
everything.
Mhm.
I have to say it.
We research in an area in the central part of Florida that's called the Green Swamp,
Right.
and that there's all kinds of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Some people refer to it as a skinwalker swamp.
Okay, now you have my attention on something a little bit of a different level. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the
Yeah, it sure
Skinwalker
does.
Swamp a bit.
Seminole Indian Reservation.
Okay.
So there was a whole bunch of different tribes of Indians all through Florida. And then after the American Indian Wars, all of Central Florida became the Seminole Indian Reservation. So there's a lot of history too for them here from the Indians.
Right.
I'm even seeing some stuff I'm catching on camera that's making me think it could be some type of Indian shaman or old Indian shaman from the past even.
Wow. Well, they're so connected to the land. Indigenous
Their
people are
face
so
is
connected.
painted almost.
See, when you describe that in Canada, because we're streamed to New Orleans, but I'm actually in Canada, and we have beings that some people think are most likely skinwalker type beings because they're these, but we call them wolf people, only because they lope, but then they stop and they stand upright, but they can go down on all fours. They've got these long limbs and very long, lanky bodies and long, lanky snouts. They just look really mangy. They're not big, full looking, like let's say like a dog man would be. Not that we don't have them, but these specific ones. And then when they run, they lope, and then they stop and they stand up, and then they just. And I'm wondering if it's the same type of being as what you're describing.
Yeah, very well could be. Yeah.
They're just, I don't know. You just see them. You're just like, let's go back in the house. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a friend in Colorado that looks just like what you're describing too.
Oh, see?
I shared that on my Facebook group. Yeah.
Wow. So we're just, two different types of beings altogether. So you have, obviously, you've got a mix of this. You have your skunk ape, which would be in the Everglades, right?
Yeah.
Much like I know in New Orleans, they're out in the swamps out there as well.
Yeah, we think that they're from the Everglades all up along like the Gulf Coast, like through Pasco County.
Right. Right.
And then on up around that area. Yeah.
Well, and I know in those, because my producer Joe's in New Orleans, and I know he talks a lot about these things being in the swamps out there, and because he's not far, he's like right on the Gulf, and they have UFOs there. They see the orbs, and again, there's a guy with a science degree. It kind of goes out just like those swamp lights, just like no, So it's fascinating, that you have them going through. Like there's obviously has to be like an entire community of these beings. Like I think that would be one heck of a trek to be making, to have for such a small group, right? Like, are they not territorial as well?
I think they are territorial, probably. Yeah, yeah. I think they live in clans or tribes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So there's a social structure to them.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Wow. BF Bud, I've seen a video of ruined houses, a little city in the Green Swamp. Have you two come across any man-made structures there?
The only one we've really come across was an old house where there had been murders. It's called the Stewart Homestead. And that's actually on Google Earth too. That's marked on Google Earth. There's people that go out there all the time and stop by there and look at the grave sites and where the old house was.
It's a little tiny
It's like almost
cabin, tiny cabin, and the grave site is out there as well.
Mhm.
It's not too far from it.
Right. Do they? I mean, if they saw a structure like that, do you think that they would spend time around it, or do they just really try to avoid it altogether? Because I just envisioning all these people now running. So I'm just trying to, save some angst for the Bigfoot. So,
No, they probably wouldn't stay in it. I wouldn't think.
Right.
I don't think they would explore it, sure, but they probably wouldn't stay there.
No, probably not.
Because he says you guys had a video on that on your channel that he thinks he saw.
Yeah, he's probably talking about
probably that. Yeah,
the Stewart murder site.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now there is an old building too, and one of our friends, Mike, that we go out with at his area in Pasco County. There was an old building that we got on film once or twice there. That BF Bud might be talking about that. But it's just like an old work building or something that's like ruined.
Yeah, abandoned.
Yeah, abandoned.
Right. I don't know. So I find it fascinating. I find what you guys do fascinating. I wish I could just be in like a million places at the same time because there's just so much I'd like to. I'm a big researcher. I research anything. I love it. I research something every day. I love to. It's part of my job, and I really get into it. But this is something that fascinates me because there's, they come by different names, different parts of the world, different countries, same characteristics, but yet so very different. Have you guys investigated? I think we had this question earlier. Someone was asking about Indiana. Have you guys investigated anything outside of Florida to see, are there similarities, differences?
No, we haven't.
No, just in Florida.
Just in Florida. Yeah.
Right. Well, you wouldn't need to really. If you've got this great rapport going on, you already have, pretty much like a test subject. Why go?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is all within an hour of our house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's some areas that are a little bit closer that we haven't really, but we really have.
Right.
We go through a lot and do a lot and find a lot.
What do you think about the Todd Standing documentary? I personally don't know anything about that, so I'm going to leave that to you too. Do you know anything about that?
I really think Todd Standing stuff is real. So far, nobody's been able to show anything to disprove it.
That's true.
A lot of people say it's hoax, but nobody can prove it.
Now, which video is this?
This is on, and it's on YouTube. It's on Amazon. I think it's on Netflix, Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
On quite a few, and he shows like 3 of them up close. They're different individuals. He shows them up close, and Waynette actually caught one on video here watching us that looks similar to one of the ones that he shows. It almost like a lion.
Yeah, it really looks
it
like
almost looks kind of like a lion.
the one that's
watching
was up there in Canada, right? Isn't that where he's from?
He's up in Canada. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we have, I think it's Saskatchewan, if I'm not mistaken, where there's a group up there studying a certain group of Bigfoot, and they're the ones that are communicating with them. And he's got video, and this Bigfoot is just saying his name because my name is Mike, and he kept saying Mike. And you hear this in this strange voice going, Mike, because really crazy. Like, oh, that's just crazy. But it's just, they're so smart.
Yes.
Question: what do you think is the biggest difference from the Green Swamp and the Ocala National Forest when it comes to what the area is like? I'll leave it up there for you guys to see it.
Well, in the Green Swamp, the terrain's a lot different than Ocala. It's a lot more swampy. There's a lot more wild hogs. It's a really huge area. I think that has a lot to do with it. The food source. There's a big, huge food source in the Green Swamp.
Right.
from deer to wild hogs to all kinds of different animals, armadillos, squirrels, all kinds of different birds. There's all kinds of natural foods that you can eat, from different kinds of berries, different kinds of plants, grasses.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of stuff you can eat out there. I'll show some of the things on my YouTube channel sometimes, and I actually eat some of it on camera.
Yes, he does.
There's so much food out there. And Ocala National Forest is a lot more hilly and pine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pretty good difference in the terrain is the main thing.
So,
and I think they hang around the water and stuff in the green swamp a lot more.
right.
Yeah.
So do you think that you would have two different species?
Yeah, I do. I think in Ocala you're going to have more of just the Sasquatch, where in green swamp you're going to have a mixture of the skunk ape, the Sasquatch.
Right.
And of what I'm starting to think too is more of a human type, like an ancient race.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
yeah, because I'm actually in their face camouflage is different. They look human. Their hair looks human.
mm-hmm.
Their faces, they blend in, like they'll blend in and look like the pine tree that they're standing next to, or like where the sun's shining and hitting all the leaves and making all the leaves look.
So they can camouflage pretty easily.
Yes,
and it's
definitely.
making their face look white, just like the leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's true. A lot of the photos that you see of them, they do get camouflage right into their environment. Like you really have to look at it. I think that's part of the reason so many people say this is fake, because they just know how to blend in to their space.
They do.
When I first started really researching, I was watching Mark Zaski. He's down in South Florida. I was watching some of his videos, and at first I turned it off. I said, "This is not real." I turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
The more I kept thinking about it, I said, "I need to go back and watch that again. I need to give it another chance to watch it."
Right.
And the more I kept watching his stuff, it's like, wow, that's real. He's showing something real right there.
It's real.
Right.
Things on my video.
I watched one of your videos when I was just out and about today. So I wasn't driving. People, don't panic. Have me on the road while I'm watching, Tim and Waynette's video. No, it's not what I did. But I found it interesting because you guys were walking around and your viewers actually saw.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll see stuff that we don't.
And zoom in and share them and say, "Hey, look,
Right, so they see it right off the bat, and you guys are like,
and I like that.
Wow, does that happen a lot?
Yeah. We don't see them. It does a lot.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we'll try to film, and we'll try to zoom way out there and film around and then zoom back in.
Right.
Yeah, people really like that too, and that helps us too when they're showing screenshots to us and stuff, showing us what they saw.
I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. Well, I mean, you make it really interactive. I think that's like amazing. It's a great way of, like you say, raising awareness. And I think the more people you bring into the fold, in a healthy way like that, I think, you have potential. You have proper future researchers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. We have friends that like one friend, she has 2 sons that have gone out with us and they're wanting to go again. They're really interested in Bigfoot and getting out there in the woods and researching.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're teaching them not to be fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I think that's a really big one. Because a lot of people, like you guys go out during the day, you go out at night. For some reason, people like to go out at night. It's just like, it's like going to a haunted house. It's always haunted. It doesn't matter when time you go, So is it the same thing like with Bigfoot? Like they're there like 24/7, or they're not? Like
they're there and they are not. Yeah.
But we mostly go out, during the day.
Because you can film a lot better. You can film what's going on around you. Yeah.
Well, it's safe. A little bit safe. Well, especially when you're out in the swamp.
It is safer,
you can see better.
At nighttime, we've caught fun at nighttime. We've caught sticks being thrown at us at nighttime.
Right. So basically, you're educating people on how to do it. So let's say, okay, I'm a newbie, okay, and I call you up and say, okay, I'm going to go on this property of ours. And it's like a family property. I'm going to go out and what do I look for? What should I do? How do I protect myself? Do I have to camouflage? Do I have to, okay, the flashy red hair will be a dead giveaway. So do I have to hide it? Do I have to, stink myself up? Like, what's the best way to not look like I'm going in there to just disrupt their space and to gain trust?
You don't have to wear camouflage. Just go in there natural. The main thing is just because you got to be aware of there's going to be mosquitoes.
Right.
To either wear rubber boots or snake bite proof boots because there's going to be snakes.
It's
Right.
what we wear.
Watch
Yes.
for, you just got to be aware of the snakes, the alligators.
Right.
You want
Right. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about those in Canada. Well, not the alligators anyway. Thank God. But cheapers, that makes
but
it a bit tough.
you want to be aware of what's around you. Look up in the trees
Right.
as you're walking, stuff like that. But
Because they go up in the trees as well.
they will,
Yes.
yes. But also panthers. You got to watch for panthers, stuff like that too.
We actually have those in the woods here too, believe it or not. Up in
Yeah.
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, the big giant black cats.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they're a bit of an anomaly up this far, mind you.
Wow.
So okay. So I'm going in there and I'm all geared up, ready to go. Safety first. What's the best approach? Do I just walk around and hope to be noticed,
Go
or
in and just act like you're bird watching or something like that. The main thing.
right?
They'll come to you. They'll come to you and watch you. They're
Right.
curious. Yeah, they're curious, so they'll come and watch you.
Right. It's like,
Yeah, if there's 2 or 3 people and they're talking some and stuff too, that attracts them. That'll
Yeah.
bring them in to watch
right.
you.
Wayne says, "Don't send your best friend into that property. It's my best friend." Come on, take one for the team, buddy. Right. So okay. So it's a curiosity, but
Yeah.
when we look at, and I'm just going to back up for a minute, when we're looking at indigenous folklore, a lot of people believe that maybe they were, that they would attack you and that you would have to fear them. Should we? I mean, should somebody like myself, because I've never done it, for example, should I be fearful? Do I have to worry about getting eaten or grabbed, or like I'm just asking the question. I know everybody else is out there thinking it. So I'm the voice of everybody.
Only from the animals. If there's black bears or panthers,
Right.
that's the only thing you got to
Yeah.
worry about. From
So-
them, they move so fast. If they wanted to kill people, they'd have already been
They
killing
could,
a lot of
they
people
Done
so
it
far.
plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you believe in the cannibal theory? That story? Do you believe in that? Do you think that maybe some of them could? Maybe like anything, good people, bad people.
I don't think they do here where we're at. I don't think there's.
Right.
They're curious and they come and watch us.
And I've seen where, in documentaries that we've watched or saw that, like, it seems like they're, to me, as far as what I think they're more aggressive in up north, in the northern part, and not so much here in the south where we're at.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
does
I
seem so.
believe.
Yeah, it does seem
That
like
would,
that.
yeah, that's what I think.
Why would that be? Do you think?
I don't know, but I'm just saying that that's
Maybe they're more used to people here.
Maybe,
and
yeah.
up there, there's not as people per property. I don't know.
Right.
Something like-
Yeah, it's a curiosity. It's a
Yes.
curiosity. There was a documentary that I watched. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Corey Good, who's a bit of a whistleblower, military whistleblower.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he made mention that he was at an underground base.
Yes.
And when he went underground, like really down underground, like probably lower levels, that there were Bigfoot down there. And they were just working, with, they weren't held against their will or anything like that. They were just part of this. I guess they had all kinds of different interdimensional beings or extraterrestrial beings, or should I say, just terrestrial, interterrestrial beings. What are your thoughts on that?
I think their bodies they're so much bigger and stronger than we are too. I think their bodies can handle a lot more than ours can. So I think they can do a lot more stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think so as well.
I've also heard of them they used to kill some of the enemy in Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
I'm learning all kinds of stuff. God, I'm glad we connected. Ray says, what do you think about the new show, Expedition Bigfoot?
I'll say what I've heard. Some of the people that have been on the TV shows don't believe everything you see on TV.
Right. It's like anything.
Yeah.
Right. It's like anything.
Entertainment.
I've watched Expedition Bigfoot. I like the fact that they're not quick to jump and say
Yeah,
that's
it's a good show. It's a good.
well,
They
I'm
do
glad
talk
that they're
about a
not
lot of
so
the
jumpy about it.
encounter.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
The shadow thing, they've experienced that. They've experienced the orbs. They've experienced, what they figured was military, or could it have been UFO? Who knows? One of the same, I say. But
Yeah.
but I like, I like that they don't
Mhm.
they're not quick to jump to, yes, for sure that was a Bigfoot. Like they're very logical about what they see for the,
Yeah,
for the
True.
most
that's
part.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, that is true. They do not do
yeah,
that.
Right.
yeah. And they keep getting in there trying to catch something on film. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because I have to say I've seen some research shows, and I'm thinking, I don't know, is this a comedy?
Yeah.
I loved it. We're probably thinking the same one. I know what you're saying. I'm thinking, is this a comedy? What is this exact? But I love them. I just thought the guys were awesome. But I'm like,
Yep.
you know.
Mhm.
But I think that's I think that's always something that there's a whole mix. Nobody really knows what to believe. I think we need more serious stuff put out there, and
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I commend you guys for sharing your stuff, first of all, because there's a lot of people that won't. That said,
Mhm.
we're just not putting it out there. We're not sharing it. We don't want it to get stolen. We don't want people to take it and
Yeah.
do something with it that's not intended to be done with it.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are afraid to be ridiculed too if they
Well,
have.
Well,
yes,
Mhm.
they don't want to be ridiculed.
well, you don't want to see your stuff also end up on a show that's all about debunking it either. You know what I mean? Like you're putting honest stuff out there, and you're trying to educate people. I just
Mhm.
think that there's so much theft out there. Like I always say, if you're going to
Mhm.
steal it, or at least do something positive with it.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. So, where do you see yourself going, with your research? Like, I mean, we all evolve, let's face it, is there a certain direction you'd like to go into? I mean, obviously the quantum thing looks like the way to go.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I'm going to keep doing more research on the
Mhm.
quantum physics and the
Oh,
science and
yes.
stuff of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Sometimes you have to wonder, are we really going to find
mm,
more, or should we quit doing it, or should we keep going? Sometimes it really makes you wonder, and then you'll see, now I'm glad I caught that on film,
Yeah, that's
and it
true.
makes you want to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, look at the Patterson film. Come on. I mean, that thing is like, that's been so controversial.
Yeah, it sure
I think
has.
anybody who's been serious kind of going, okay, I don't need my work picked apart. I know what I saw.
Uh-huh.
Like, but there's just, I think we're in the age of technology where so much stuff can be fudged that people are leery, I think, of what they see.
Yeah.
They don't know what to
I
believe.
know, right? And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. They don't know
understandable.
if somebody's making something look real. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. I like the whole quantum thing though. I do, because
Mhm.
we're also in an age, because of internet and things like that, and being able to research things for ourselves. There's something, a degree of logic about it, that people have an easier time accepting. See, this is what is interesting to me. Some people say no, they're just ancient primates of some sort. There's nothing human about them. Other people are just like, it's sort of like that lost, like people when you see the giant squid, in the depths of the
Yep.
ocean, and they just think, no,
Mhm.
these beings just went down to the depths of our cave systems, and there's no intelligence to them. They just sit there, they grunt. Then you have those like, no, they're interdimensional, they just come through portals. It's easier for people to kind of go, no, they just come through portals sometimes than it is to think that they actually live in our forests. And then you have people who are on the flip side of that.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, do you think more people need to research into the whole quantum physics thing?
Yeah. Because with me, I mean, I hunted for years. I grew up hunting, and I never had any kind of sighting at all.
Right.
And once I started researching, now when I look back at certain times, I actually had encounters, even though I didn't see one. I had
Right.
encounters and things happen that was them doing it. Or they were,
Right.
yeah.
See, I like how you word that, because this is something Rana talked a lot about as well. And people, I think, have a hard time grasping it. They
Mhm.
can create things like that. They can get into your head. They can, like, they can, you know, telepathically communicate with you. They can make you feel nauseous. They can give you those headaches. They
Yeah,
can,
they sure can. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So how
You
many?
got a headache one time. Yeah. He
Yeah.
got
Yeah. This about a year ago when one hit me with the infrasound, it gave me a headache for a couple hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
So can you explain the infrasound, how it works from the Bigfoot standpoint for those who are listening?
The infrasound, from what I understand, in a couple of my videos, I've seen it from Scott Carpenter. When they open their mouth a little bit and show their teeth, they can emit a frequency
Wow.
that's called infrasound. That tigers use it. There's several different kinds of animals
yeah,
that
they
use
can
it
use it.
Right.
to
Right.
paralyze their prey. So I think they're using it, and it gives you a like a sense of anxiety, a dread feeling that something's coming out to kill you, and it affects people differently.
Mm-hmm. Put you into like fight or flight mode.
Because like when I was feeling it, so I have a lot of experience in the woods. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like a bear was coming at me, and I was thinking to myself, do I need to draw my gun or do I need to keep filming? And
Right.
I kept thinking to myself, well, I know what it is, I know what's causing it, and I knew I could tell where it was coming from. I was pinpointing exactly where it was coming from, so I kept filming that direction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If I hadn't have known what it was that was causing it, I would have drew my gun out and been ready to fight because it was that strong.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people,
yeah,
not
yeah. She,
often though, not often. Do you, I mean, this is obviously one of them being in your, like, was this early days? Because it sounds to me like your group that you're observing is pretty used to you, and I don't think they
yeah, I
would
think
want to cause harm.
this could have been like a lone male that was by itself or
Yeah.
something nearby.
Right.
It was in a nearby area where we have experiences with the groups. So
Wow.
it could have been just a male that
Yeah.
was
Right. Yeah, just a little
having a
overactive.
bad day or like
Right. So
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
just sort of like a stay away thing, right? Because I
yeah,
mean,
it is.
it's human nature, fight or flight. If you don't feel good in
Yeah.
a certain area, you're gonna try to venture out of that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, so how many hours do you think you spend on the computer researching your footage from when you were in the field? Good question.
A lot.
almost every evening after work. Yeah,
he really puts the work
yeah,
into it.
like everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, I work a full time job. So when I'm home, I'm trying to look through my video footage and put videos together and trying to zoom in sometimes and see if I think I'm seeing what I'm really seeing on the video footage. And it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
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 Well, I would think it would be very tedious in a way, because you're looking at a forest and you're
Mhm.
looking at beings
Yeah.
that are masters at camouflaging in the
Yeah.
forest. So
Yes.
you really have to have an eye for it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And that's helped me with my tracking too. It's almost like that. We can be
Right.
walking through an area and even after some of the group has walked on by, I can spot a track sometimes and hey, tell everybody to come back and look at this.
Right.
And I have a pretty good footprint.
Right.
And I can see it too in the videos when I'm watching the videos and the footage too. Having that
Right.
little bit of eye for detail. Yeah.
Well, how long have you been doing this exactly, you guys?
3 years, almost right at 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, so you definitely have been able to get an eye for it for sure. Um, what about Les Stroud's
Yeah, we
Bigfoot
have a lot of
Survivor Man and the evidence he captured? If you've seen it and want to comment on it?
yeah, I've been watching I think I've watched all his Bigfoot shows that he had on.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Right.
he has some really good stuff because you can tell, like when he's sitting there putting a shelter together and he keeps hearing something that makes him stop and look into the woods, something that keeps distracting him that's not normal, that's not right.
Right.
And
Right.
he went out with Todd Standing as well. Experience.
That's right. He had an experience out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Really? That's interesting.
He actually he thinks one sat on him while he was sleeping.
Yeah, while he
one
was
night.
sleeping.
He said
That's
he could.
not a light endeavor. Like even a juvenile would be,
Right,
you know.
Yeah, and I've heard they'll do that if you're sleeping like in a sleeping bag out in the open by the fire during the night. They'll come and they'll actually like sit on you.
As a reason why? Is it just
to mess with you?
Yeah. Had a sense of humor, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
crazy.
I've heard they'll do that. They'll do that. If you're sitting at camp, they'll come up behind you and tap you on the shoulder.
Oh, so they like to play and mind ninja you a little bit.
Yeah.
They're mind ninjas, apparently. Okay. Okay. Note to self. Okay. All right. That's fascinating. I love learning. So this to me is fantastic. Chris, hey Chris, people think the world is overpopulated, but if you think about it, there are vast spaces that are uninhabited, plenty of room for a creature like Bigfoot to exist with little detection.
Yeah, there sure is. Yeah, even here in Florida, I mean, there's a lot of people moving here in Florida right now too, and the housing area is just booming.
It's just crazy.
They're building houses everywhere, but there's still a lot of woods, a lot of wildlife management areas.
True.
There's still a lot of places for them. Yeah.
Right. So there's definitely a lot of. Let's put it this way: there's a lot of space that the unsuspecting hiker or hunter could encounter such a being. It's always hard for me, because I've seen so much, just through having abilities and so on, that it's hard for me to look at a being like that. Like, to me, they're pretty magnificent, just with their degree of intelligence. And I mean, if they can be social with one another, and they live in social groups, and they're protective of their young and so on, that it's hard to look at that as being a creature, or like, to me, it's just another being,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, call me crazy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just funny like that. But so that brings me to the mentality of people. Do you think people just look at them too much as being just a dumb primate?
Yeah.
Even though I tend to think that most primates are smarter than a lot of people I know.
Yeah, and on some TV shows as well.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
People think that they want to just see like an ape walk out and be able to see an ape walk out in front of them when they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Way too intelligent.
Yeah.
Their camouflage is way too good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've had people that look. I mean, clearly, I agree with you with the aspect that they are very clever. If they wanted to hurt you, they could. I've had people say,
that's true.
They've been hunted down with respects to. No, I wouldn't say hunted down. I mean, they've had their cars chased, and they are pacing the car. They're able to keep up with the car, and they'll cut in front of the car to the point where if they wanted to hit you and knock you off the road, I'm sure they could.
Oh, yes.
But they just strategically just get ahead of you and move over, slow you down. Like they're very strategic about what they do. Like there is a plan.
Yeah.
Am I mistaken with that, or is that pretty much?
I think it is. Yeah, I think they use that when they're hunting too. When they're hunting deer, I've heard them how they hunt deer and they'll herd the deer up, and it's almost the same way you just described with the car. Yeah.
Wow. I have to I'm going to make a quick station ID. So station and sponsor ID, because that's, this is what I call the fun part of what I do, but this is the business part. So for those of you who are just tuning in, should have done this a while ago, but we'll let it go. We'll let it go. You are listening to The Outer Realm here on United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans, and Roku, people. That's right. United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Radio Network have a Roku channel, and we are live on Roku right now. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, and we'd like to give them a big thank you. We appreciate you so much. A big thank you to our other sponsor, Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, an award-winning composer of Halloween horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music. And you can find him on Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, most streaming platforms. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the artwork here at The Outer Realm. We are sitting here having a little roundtable parlay with Florida Bigfoot researchers Tim and Waynette Turner, who have been a wealth of information, I have to say. I mean, I am pretty versed in a lot of things, and people will say, you know, just they can ask me pretty much anything. I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. You know, but I love learning new things. And this is out of the realm for me because somehow, as curious as I am about it, I've never really thought to go out and want to actually find one of these guys. It's just that fight or flight thing, kind of going, yeah, you know, you just got to back away. You can't do everything, you know. And I grew up in the North, and I mean, I know they were around, but just never really thought much about it. Like they're pretty elusive because they weren't squeezed out of their habitats like they are now, I guess.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you see that being a big problem moving forward? You know, in some areas.
Yeah, I do, because I think there's a lot of energy with the trees, and they're seeing all the trees being cut down, and like there's been a lot of interactions with the loggers and stuff too.
True. Yeah.
So I think it
Aggressive
has
interaction?
Yeah, aggressive. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't say that I blame them. I get pretty ornery when I see forests getting cut down too.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a bit of like one of those nature lovers, you know, forests and trees, things like that. Yeah. You know, call me crazy, but I'd like to see them stick around for a while. So that's really fascinating that that they're protecting their space. So yeah, I guess moving forward that would be really hard because we are really squeezing all sorts of species of animals, etc.
We sure are. Yeah.
Question. Okay. How was hunting bite after 10 camp out? I got nothing. This is going to be for you guys.
Flat Rock.
Oh yeah, Flat Rock.
BF.
Okay. I don't know. Right.
A lot of our friends are on there watching too.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's great. So this is for you guys.
Some of them have actually come to our house. BF Bud, Flat Rock. They came to our house and stayed at our house with us for the Bigfoot conference we had here.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So do you guys speak at the conference? Is this
we spoke at two different conferences, like the Lakeland Bigfoot conference. We were the first group up. Our team that we're working with, we were the first ones up to speak.
Oh, good.
We spoke some at in Punta Gorda, down in Punta Gorda. They had the Skunk Ape conference, so we were listening.
Right. And do you find that, I mean, is it a good turnout?
Yes, it is really good. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of people interested in Bigfoot. Yeah.
Are there a lot of people in your community that have had sightings as well that come to you and tell you what's going on?
Yeah,
so
there is. Yeah, yes. They'll come to us and tell us. There's a lot of people speak at the Bigfoot conference, like during their intermissions. They'll go up and tell about their sighting that they had or hitting one with the car.
Can you imagine?
Or just something like that across the road.
You hit a Bigfoot with your car? I don't see that going well. Not for the car or the Bigfoot, but wow. Geez, what do you do when you hit a Bigfoot with a car? I mean, I've seen people hit a deer and it's pretty detrimental, but I mean, some people will tell you like a full-size Bigfoot will outweigh a deer.
Yeah, it sure will.
Probably a few hundred pounds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
as far as I do some damage to the car and just injure the Bigfoot, I don't think they've ever killed one.
No, No. Well, again, I've read articles where an injured Bigfoot will just wander off, but literally, again, it's like what we were talking about.
Hmm.
They just disappear.
Yeah,
Like
they
no one's
do.
ever found one, have they? Like a
No,
deceased
no, they
Bigfoot.
haven't. No, I think that too has a lot to do with them being in clans or tribes too. I think they take care of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no one's.
Yeah. So if one gets hurt,
There have
I think
been people who've come forward and said that they have. One guy came forward and said he shot a Bigfoot, a
yeah.
juvenile,
Hmm.
and took people to where it was, but I don't think anything's ever come of that. For the most part, I think it disappeared after a while.
Yeah, I think it was gone. I think all they found some flesh from it from where he shot it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember hearing that.
Are you guys going in April?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
that's the Bigfoot conference, Ocala. So yeah,
Okay.
we're planning.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
and Ron
Okay.
Moorhead's going to be there. Ron Moorhead's coming to that one to speak. David Pilates,
Wow.
he's going to be there
Yeah.
speaking.
So you got a good group of people.
Yes.
Are,
It's
Yeah,
gonna. Yes.
are,
It's gonna be
are you
awesome.
speaking at that one also, or are you going to go just listen to everybody else?
we're probably going to be listening to everybody at that one.
Which
I don't think
that's
we'll
what
be
I want to be
speaking.
doing. I want to be listening to these guys.
Yeah, yeah, and getting to meet them and
Yes, and
speaking
getting
with
to
them.
meet them, and
Yeah,
Oh, Ron is wonderful. I mean, 50
yes.
yeah,
years
we learned a lot from them.
of research.
Hmm.
Some of the incredible sounds that he's captured, but doing much like what you guys are doing, just interacting with a certain group seems to be the way to do things, I think, instead of bouncing around so much, because, he seems to have gained a little bit of trust, if not a
Hmm.
great deal of trust. And they just seem to sing for him, as I say. He's got amazing stuff as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, several areas that we actually go into and research, and we're trying to stick to just a couple of different areas and just keep going in and interacting with them.
Right, right. Oh, hey, Tamara, tune in late, I see. Tamara's one of our regulars. I just like to razz her. How many dead bear bodies are found? Nature eats it up. Same with Bigfoot. Also, Bigfoot might bury their dead. Finding a dead one might be even harder. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's right. Because there's black bears here in Florida, but you never hear of anybody finding any dead ones or any bones or anything from bears.
No.
Yeah, because
Or
people ask, well,
from
what, how come you don't find bones from the dead Bigfoot, but you don't find bones from a lot of the animals
From a
either.
lot of the animals. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So here of any bones being found.
Have you guys considered doing any sort of a small documentary or writing a book about your experiences? Even
Yeah,
like
I've been
a
thinking about
guidebook.
doing both. Yeah, I've been thinking about writing a book and
Right.
then also doing like well, I think I want to do two different kinds of books.
Hmm.
One to mainly help people to learn what to do to get out here and research,
Hmm.
and another one of our experiences and
I think it
how we
would
got
be.
into it, and about the documentary as well, because we have so much video and all.
Oh, I think you definitely should write a book. I think
Hmm.
you guys would be the perfect candidates for writing an educational book on the do's and the don'ts.
Hmm.
Hello, Steve. The do's and the don'ts with, I guess, if you're a newbie, just
Yeah.
educating people on what to do, how to do it, what not to do.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm curious about it, but in the same respect, I'm like, I'd be a target because his hair is just not going anywhere. So it'd be like, I don't know who'd be the most curious, but there's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. There we go. All right. And he's capitalized. He's screaming that out at you.
Ain't that right?
Yeah.
You come back to my house anytime for breakfast.
There
Yeah.
we go. He's just screaming
Yeah.
out. You should write a book on your tracking skills. There we go. I like that. Capitalize. It just gets the point right out there. So, but yeah, I guess that's probably what I mean with the do's and don'ts. Properly educating people on how to properly research these beings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Do you think if you guys offered up like, and I don't know. I mean, there's so many university and colleges now that are bringing on people such as yourselves, whether it's in the paranormal, whether it's this sort of thing, whether it's the UFOs, for people who just want extracurricular classes to do. Even, I don't know, going to a public library and coming out and say, look, we're going to do a talk on this. We're going to teach people how to do it. Maybe bring out a small group of people out into the field. I think you guys would really do well with something like that.
Yeah, we've actually done it a couple of times where we've let people come out with us with our team that we work with too.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to work with some other researchers too here and there and take them out and show them what we're finding in our areas too.
Yeah.
That's been working out really good too.
Yeah, see, I'd buy a book. Okay, there you go. Line them up. Line them up. There we go. Yeah, I would actually, I would do something like that. I used to do a lot of ghost tours back in the day. Just I find that people, and I would do a lot of public speaking, and people, they don't know where to start when they want to, when they decide. Like in this case, it was, what do we do? Hauntings, proper learning how to use equipment, things like that, right? Was my thing like many moons ago. But they felt better being in a group of people who were like-minded, because they didn't feel foolish doing it. They wanted to learn how to properly do it. They wanted to be people that they could share the experience with. Adriana, here we go. Yeah, like we're in the haunted forest in Romania. That was fun too. We got like, leave, go now, run. Okay, bye. Yeah, but maybe that sort of thing. I think you would have a lot of people coming together just so they don't feel foolish. So they do feel like they're with, people of like mind. Do like a camp out. Do you go camping out there? Do you guys ever go camping overnight?
We don't like we used to. When I used to hunt, grew up hunting, I used to camp all the time. And we used to camp quite a bit. But
yeah, we did.
We haven't as much here since we've been doing this. Yeah.
Really? Why? Because it's really out there?
No.
I don't want to go camping.
No.
Someone's going to try to sit on the tent.
Yeah.
No.
See, that would be fun though. Bringing out a group of people.
No, because we do go out.
Yeah. I think it would just put a whole new spin on camping adventures, and I don't know. I would do it with you guys. I would feel really okay with doing it with you guys. I think everybody's chiming in, going, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine, great guys." I was like, "Okay, all right, I could go for this." Somebody sits on me though in the middle of the night, I'm going to be a little offended. So okay. So what? We're slowly inching towards the top of the hour. What do you guys want? What do you want to put out there? We do have millions of people who listen to the show every night that we're on. What do you want to put out there, like to make use of the listenership? What do you want people to know?
Well, one of the main things is the thermal cameras. The thermal cameras work off of heat. So if you're seeing footage from a thermal camera, it's working off of heat. So it can't be just something that's created on a computer and hoax. So now daytime the camera the light doesn't affect it. So that's one thing I'm trying to get across to people more and more too, is the thermal camera and the thermal footage.
Right.
That we're catching these beings and they look just like us. A lot of them look human.
They're bipedal in the way
facial features, and they're standing up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I caught one at nighttime that was standing up. I was up on a mound of dirt about 3 foot up, and I'm standing there with the thermal camera to my eye, and I'm 10 foot tall. He's got a head that looks just like a human, and it looks like he's got a deer across his shoulder. And he's standing there just like 20, 30 yards from us, pitch black dark. Yeah. How
big are you when you can just chuck a deer across your shoulder? Tim, think about yourself trying to chuck a deer across your shoulder. That's got to be a lot of girth right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you got 150-pound or more deer to be able to just pick it up and throw it over your shoulder like that and walking around with it.
Wow. We can do that. I don't think they'd have a whole lot of problems with an individual.
That's the main thing with me is the thermal camera footage. Yeah.
But I would also like to add that no matter what you believe in, whether it be Bigfoot, paranormal, don't let people ridicule you. Don't let them run what you are doing that you believe in.
Right. I agree. I think that a lot of fields fight with that one, because it's just if it's something that I find people who fight it the most are the people who fear it. You know, I think if somebody fears something, they have to make fun of it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. That if they don't understand it,
we think there's some people that'll do that and they don't want to know nothing about Bigfoot because they're afraid if they learn about it, then they won't go back in the woods. They won't go back and run or walk or enjoy it anymore.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. It makes it real. It's sort of one of those out of sight, out of minds, like, oh, I'm not listening. I don't want to know. But that's life, though. We share space with so many other beings out there, and I think life keeps us so busy that we fail to pay attention. When you're taking that walk in the woods, especially when you're in the deep woods or the Everglades and you're in a quiet space, to think that you're alone, to me, is just like ludicrous.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, quick question here. Tamara, there we go. Here, yeah, you woke up from your nappies, eh? Do you find the paranormal encrypted or cryptic overlap in the field?
Yeah, we do. As far as like, because we're getting orbs, we're getting them where we think they're cloaked. The Bigfoots are cloaked, and we're getting the different types of beings too. That's more than just the Bigfoot and the skunk apes. So I think it is. Yeah.
So you think, they're cloaking then?
Yeah, we think they're cloaking too. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Have you found that on your cameras? It's like sort of that translucent, iridescent, wavy little field. Like,
yeah, I think
the distortion, I guess.
It's more translucent. Not really that they're just disappearing or you can't see them at all, but it's more like translucent.
Yeah.
Where you can still see there's something there that,
Yes. Do you think, with that being said, and I'm going to go back to Chris's. Chris has got a question here, and I would like to add to that. Like, he's saying, do you think Bigfoot could exist in Central Park in NYC? My question was along those same lines. If they can cloak, how do we know they're just not? If you don't know, people aren't paying attention. That whole wave thing, they could be anywhere.
I have a couple of friends that send me pictures of them in their houses where they're like translucent like that, but yet you can kind of see that they're there. And even one of my friends had one walk off of his porch and left a big, huge footprint. And he showed me the footprint with a big ruler there. Yeah.
In the house.
I think in his house. Yeah. A couple different people in their house.
See, I have boundaries. I don't know how I would really do with that.
Yeah.
Wow, in the house. So how does something so
I think
big and heavy just?
How
do we not notice something like that?
I think it's because they can move between dimensions. They can be transparent.
So they are following people home, basically.
Yes, sometimes they do. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, so Wayne says, do you think the cloaking is a technology or is it something natural within the being itself, bestie? I hate that word, creature. Just saying.
Not really, more to do with the quantum physics.
Right.
The way they're able to use energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's just how they're manipulating the energy.
Yeah, manipulating energy. Yeah.
Wow. That's also really interesting. Okay. Hi, James. There's so many different ways to go out and look for Bigfoot in different areas.
Yeah, there sure is.
In your house, apparently, James. You just got to sit there and just where it is. Do you think the coyotes are being pushed out of forest by cryptids?
James just recently had a Bigfoot group, and it's got the big red one that we have. People have been reported seeing here in Central Florida, and he actually caught it on video. I was looking at it today. One of my friends took a screenshot and sent it to me. And I looked back at his footage and looked at it, and it looks to me like it's a really big, huge one. One hunter, he took us in and showed us exactly where he saw it.
Right.
And he
Right.
said it stepped out on the trail, and he thought it was fixing to kill him. And he said it stepped right back into the woods and went on. And he said,
it was huge.
He said it made Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Said the head was as big
Little
as a
girly man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
think caught it on video. Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. That's insane. So obviously they could turn up pretty much just about anywhere.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, when Tamara says coyotes, for example, I'm going to say food source. I'm going to elaborate on that with food source being pushed out of the forests. Do you think by
they use the
cryptids into the
coyotes.
cities? Yeah, maybe they're fearing. I think as
I
we
think they use the coyotes though. I think
Yeah.
they use them to hunt.
yeah,
We've been out a couple different times at night where I've heard a howl, almost like a howl yell, and then the coyotes will start up howling, yelling, and yelping, and
right.
it was not a coyote that started it. So I think they somehow are able to work with the coyotes or manipulate them
Right.
to hunt
Yeah, I would think that it's
Yeah.
sort of
something.
a double-edged something, like
Yeah.
I think being like coyotes, for example, just trying to venture out of the forest into a safer place, being in communities. Crazy coyote has no clue that this thing apparently can just manifest anywhere it wants. But anyway, and is it because they're doing that and we're squeezing out habitats for including Bigfoot? If this is another reason they're just venturing out, or are they just so used to people infringing on their space that now they're like free for all?
Yeah, that's right. And the coyotes that come into neighborhoods looking for food too, looking for
Right.
people's cats or small dogs
Yeah.
or
That
stuff like
problem
that as
too.
well. Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so we've tackled, obviously the best tool of the trade here to make it a bit more foolproof would be considered like the thermal. I love thermal imager. I do. I think
Mhm.
it's really a great piece of equipment to, to work with this sort of thing, hands down. People out there, okay, people, if you're not interested, if you're scared, learn about it. Doesn't mean you have to go walk out into the woods, and it doesn't mean the woods in your backyard has anything to worry about, because
No.
clearly go
Right.
anywhere you want. It doesn't matter. You see, it doesn't matter. So, if you're catching something's eye, meh, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think every field has its share of bad seeds, and unfortunately, all we can do, in your case and in this part of your field, is just doing what you do best. Present it and just like make of it what you will. Here it is. If you don't have anything good to say,
Yeah.
don't say it at all.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
It's an
right.
opinion. It's a perception. It's
Right.
just how we perceive it, how
Mhm.
others perceive it. I think in the end, working together is really it's the only key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we learn more that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
you do, and if you fear something and you learn about it, maybe it takes away that fear. Like you're saying, you've got this great rapport, and they're watching you and throwing little twigs at you. A twig could be a boulder. A twig could be like a tree arm, but they're
Yeah.
not.
they're not.
They're
Yeah.
throwing little things to play with you.
Yeah.
They're allowing their young to come and take bait from you. How do they?
Yeah.
They don't know it's not poisonous. They don't know what it is. I mean, it's like, okay, it's food, but like they're trusting. Like you've
Yeah,
built this
trusting us. I think we
relationship.
can tell our intentions as well. Yeah.
Well, I also believe that they're telepathic. If they can manifest, and if they can cloak, and if they have all of these phenomenal abilities, they're going to be able to read, I believe, telepathically read what you're all about, read your energy, read your mind, your thoughts. If they can put out, this sound that can cripple you pretty much, I
Yeah.
truly believe they can communicate. They can
Mhm.
hear you.
Yes.
And if you guys don't exhibit any sign of threat, I do truly think this is why you're getting the results that you're getting. You're building trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You know,
They know that nature and
And we're not there to hurt
them and
them or
everything. Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pamela says they do. They are great researchers. We have a really great fan base, and I love it. I love it. There's so many positive comments in the stream. You know, keep it coming, guys. We have a couple more minutes. So lastly then, how do people find you? You know, if they have a story they want to share with you, or maybe
Yes.
they'd like you to come and research with them, or they come research with you, or follow what it is you guys are doing.
Yeah, if they'll go on our YouTube channel and comment, because I'll try to reply back to everybody on the comments. Yeah.
In our group page.
Yeah, and our group page now on Facebook as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
And you're interested in hearing other people's stories as well?
Yeah, we
Oh,
sure
yes.
are.
Florida or anywhere?
Yes.
Anywhere. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
we're all over the world, so you just
Yes.
might. So, I really want to thank you guys for coming on.
Definitely.
This has been a lot of fun. It's
Yes.
been educational.
Thank you. Yeah.
If anything, I was explaining to people before we started that how Tim and I connected, because you commented on Ron Morehouse and you explained what you did.
Mhm.
You know, we have a lot of big names that come on the show. Like, I mean, from all walks of life with respect to the top of their fields, wherever that may be.
Right.
And it was nice to have somebody say, no, this is what we do. And, you know, and I'm thinking, I would really like to explore this, because it just shows everybody that, you know, I can go out and do this too. You
Yep,
know,
that's
I
right.
can go out and experience this and have these experiences and gain this knowledge and conquer my fear, even if they sit on you when you're sleeping and
Well-
manifest in your house and stuff. Okay. Stuff I did not know that now I'm going to be kind of like, So, you know, but this has really been a lot of fun. I've really
And
enjoyed
it has
having you
been
guys
for me
on. Thank you. Thank you.
too.
It
I've
sure
loved
has.
it.
It's gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, there's a lot of people listening. I will reach out. I mean, I'll be on the soundboard for another hour after the show is done. But once all our servers roll in, I will let you guys know how many people were actually listening tonight, and I'll make sure you guys have links to the show, to this, you know, the YouTubes and SoundCloud. Of course, our audio is much bigger audience because we're an FM network. So
Okay.
our audio archives tend to do the best, and of course, you guys will definitely get the links to that as well. And Pamela, that would be nice. We would love to have you. We would love to have you anytime. I'm glad you guys had a really good time. Flash.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Saw a light flash behind the woman, Waynette. Waynette, you got a Bigfoot in the house.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't even laugh anymore, because according to you guys, that could be a thing. And they do give flashes of light as well, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do.
They
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Well then,
Well,
we will leave that right there. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I know Amelia wishes she could be here, but you know, she's under the weather. It's just the time of year. So you write that book, you know, and you have an open door policy to come back on the show. We would love to hear all about it.
Yeah,
all
thank you.
right.
Yeah, we'd love to be back again. Yeah.
Fantastic. So
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This has been
Thank you so
awesome.
much. Yeah.
my honor. It's just been a lot of fun, and thank you for everything that you do. Keep up the good work, and just persevere. You know, you guys are just obviously doing it right, and a lot of people not necessarily. So, you know, I'm going to get hate mail. I know it, but anyway. Anyway, guys, thank you and good night, and I will be in
Good night.
touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Everybody in chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Well, we have come to the end of another fantastic show. I just love how this worked out. Seriously. I mean, you see, just comment and you just never know what's going to come of it. I just automatically felt drawn to Tim, to his comment. And when he explained that he and Waynette do this, I thought, you know what, this would be fantastic. So I really had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. Big thank you to them. They were just wonderful, wonderful people. And thanks to everybody in chat. You guys always make it that much more fun. Always make it that much more fun. and more interactive. So thank you guys for that. Big thank you to Folgers Coffee for being a part of our journey tonight and every night that we are on. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Big thank you to Justin Snicker, Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, for providing us with your music and your voice, and just our intro, outro just completely rock. And thank you to Steve McGinnis for your amazing artwork. We appreciate you. If you like the show, wherever you're watching, please either subscribe, join, follow, whatever the case may be. We appreciate your support, and we work very hard to bring you the absolute best. If you'd like to see a guest on the show, or you would like to be a guest on the show, we do have a waiting list. I'm just saying, I think we're into April now, but we're always happy to have something different. So contact us at the Outer Realm contact@gmail.com. Again, the Outer Realm contact@gmail.com. Find us at the Outer Realm on Facebook as well, and just click the email button and just tell us what you got going on. So tomorrow night we have another interesting guest who will be on for the very first time, Max Hawthorne, and he's going to be discussing his book, Monsters and Marine Mysteries. I'm all that. There's a few Canadian ones in there too. So I am just looking really forward to that. And yeah, so we're done. I think I'm just still reading. So I came back to your aura. Well, thank you, Chris, coming back to my aura. It's a little bit tired, but I will take it. So anyway, thank you guys. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.